What's up, people? Welcome back to Chris Chats Comics. My name is Chris Gonzalez, and I'm back again for another episode of Single Issue Sundays. And this week we got 5 titles to discuss. We got 2 from Image, 1 from Mad Cave, and 2 from DC. So let's get into it. And welcome back. So Single Issue Sundays is the video series where I dive deeper and do like a recap, review, and discussion about the issues that I picked up from this previous New Comic Book Day. And you can, go back and check out the episode of New Comic Wednesdays where I showcased my haul and picking those titles up. So yeah, like I mentioned, got 5 titles this week, and let's go ahead and get things started. We're going to start with the Image titles, and the first one I'm going to go over is Escape. This is issue number 8. This is written by Rick Remender. The artwork and the colors are done by Daniel Acuna, and the letters are done by Russ Wooten. And this is one of my favorite series that I'm reading right now across all publishers. And again, Rick Remender is one of my favorite writers. He's probably my favorite writer right now. I was going back between him and Jonathan Hickman, but I just been loving Rick's work more lately. But yeah, this series has been great. Last issue ended where Milton, our protagonist, he had, accomplished his mission and destroyed the Titan cannon from this, was this perceived impenetrable fortress, and he had help from some of the resistance, including the Anders Mueller, the father that his son is named Emil, and they took Milton in, and he ended up being part of the resistance. And again, it was back in previous issues, his wife had ties with the resistance as well. So but yeah, Anders came in, he saved Milton, but a lot of his men were either killed or a few were captured. So the issue starts off with the lieutenant colonel of the opposing side, the opposition. He starts to interrogate the captives, and it's actually kind of feel sympathetic towards him because he sees his dead son who was incinerated in the blast, and he calls him my sweet boy, I did this to you, now go to the stars, little prince. So his men are all surprised that he's mourning his son. And then he goes ahead and starts interrogating the captives. There's 3 of them. The first one, he told him he didn't know where Milton was or the location of the resistance, so he gets killed. And the lieutenant colonel, he's threatening these captives like, hey, you got 2 options. You can be stoic and just not reveal any information, and if you do that, we're gonna just kill you and your whole family. And the other option is you can accept fate, just reveal Milton's location, and you'll still die, but your family will be spared. So again, artwork by Daniel Acuna continues to be incredible, along with his colors. It's fitting with he's just developed an atmosphere of this worn, torn country with how dark the colors are, and it just complements his art style and the tone of this story completely. And so he kills the first captive right here, and then he starts to interrogate the second one. And the second one, it's insinuated that he's going to reveal information until the third captive bites him in the neck, causes him to bleed out, and then the lieutenant colonel, he starts to question the third captive, And then we catch up with Milton. It looks like this is an abandoned hospital, but I'm not quite sure. But he's holed up there with Anders, and then this guy, Frederick, is his brother-in-law, Anders' brother-in-law, and he's also part of the resistance. He was away for a day trying to gather some rifles, and he's pissed off at Anders for, acting too hastily and causing men to die and to get captured. So Frederick does not agree that Anders risked a lot to save Milton, but Anders was just telling him hey, we had no other choice. Milton, he was able to take down the Titan cannon, so we should trust him. But Frederick, he is having none of that. Meanwhile, Milton, he's using that distraction to go to the communications equipment, and he's trying to get a hold of his central commands, and then he's finally able to, and he uses the secret code to connect with them, and they tell him essentially he has 12 hours to meet at the rendezvous point at the coastline before something happens, and before they move to the next phase. And you kind of know what they're planning to do. So Frederick, he comes across Milton as he's trying to communicate with his commands and pulls the gun on him. But then all of a sudden they get attacked and ambushed, and it looks like that third captive, he did reveal the location of the resistance. So the opposition, they're laying laced against the resistance, and then Anders, he takes his son, and Milton, they need to escape. And while they're trying to escape, Frederick, he believes this is Milton's fault. He believes that he led the enemy forces to their location, and they have an intense fight scene. And as Frederick is about to land the killing blow with an axe, Anders kills him by shooting him, and Anders is like, am I a fool for trusting you? He doesn't trust Milton's country or the command, but he trusts Milton. But I mean, Frederick kind of had a good point with his accusations against Milton, because again, it's insinuated that the commands, they're telling Milton to head over to the coastline. They might bomb the shit out of that location. So Frederick kind of had a point. So was he right? Will Milton be able to get to the rendezvous point in time? And is Anders, is he naive to put his trust into Milton? We'll have to find out. But this is just another great issue of Escape. Again, one of my favorite series by my favorite writer right now. Artwork by Daniel Acuna is incredible. His colors are fitting of the tone, and it's just, people, you need to read this comic. That's Escape. That was issue number 8. And then go on to the last Image title, and this is White Sky. This is issue number 4. It's written by William Harms. The artwork's done by J.P. Mavinga. Colors are done by Lee Luridge, and the letters are done by Ed Dukeshire. So again, this series continues just to be okay. I really think the artwork is really good. The story is just, the pacing's just off. I want them to, spend more time in certain areas to, build out the world and the lore, but it's just, I feel like it's just the pacing's going really slow and really fast at certain points, so it's just all over the place. But yeah, so our main characters, Walter and Violet, they are going through this area to escape the people that are hunting them, and Walter calls it the cathedral, and they hear these spirits that are singing to them, and Walter's like, don't pay attention, don't look around, they're singing to, that's how they trick you. So they leave. So they're barely in that cathedral or whatever it was, and they go out to the other side. Again, they're trying to look for supplies and to see if Walter's friends are still alive. But again, artwork's really good. Really good artwork. I really did the artwork. It's just the story by Harms. It's not really doing it for me. But then we cut back to Pleasanton, and this is where Violet's dad is being held at by these marauders, and their leaders right here. His name is Lewis, and they have to go across this. You have to go through this gate and assemble some, debris and move it. And Lewis is like, okay, if you don't work, you get shot. If you run, you get shot. If you're a pain in the ass, you get shot. So, they're forcing them into labor. And then, Walter, we cut back to Walter and Violet. Again, they're going through the wasteland, and Walter discovers that whoever his friends were, or the friends who he was with prior, they're dead now. And Violet's looking for her father, so she's like, we need to get the fuck out of here. And then Walter's like, okay, well, I know a place we can go. Again, I love, the artwork. The artwork itself is building out the world, kind of, but I just need more information. Like, how did this all happen? How long has this been happening? I just need more information. We're 4 issues in, I still don't know that much of what's going on, like the circumstances. So, but that one guy, I think his name is Earl, who has been tracking down Walter and Violet, he makes his moves, and I guess he's trying to kill Violet here, but Walter saves Violet, gets shot, and now Walter, he's slowly bleeding out. And then Earl, this guy with the sniper, he is kind of disgruntled now. He's like, oh shit. But then we cut back to Pleasanton, and David is talking with the prisoner that he's been with, and it's revealed that this prisoner is Lewis's own brother. And Lewis's brother, he didn't like how things were going, so him and a few people were trying to leave Lewis's camp, but Lewis got pissed, killed all his friends, and threw his brother in a cage. So since they're working, some spirits are on their way, and Lewis's brother, he's pleading with them like, hey, they're coming, we need to get back inside. But this girl, she's not listening. And yeah, artwork great. Look at this, really good artwork. So they're pleading with the woman, but she's not budging, so they try to go through the gate through an opening, and David gets through, but Lewis's brother gets caught on a chain. And is he gonna die? We don't find out, so we'll find out next issue. And then again, cut back to Walter and Violet. Walter's bleeding out, Violet doesn't know what to do, and then Earl finds them, and he was like, okay, well, if Walter dies, we're all fucked. And then a bunch of spirits are now assembling to where they're at. So why can't Walter die? What would happen if Walter dies? So I'm a little intrigued with that, but that was pretty much it. That was White Sky issue number 4. Again, artwork's great by JP Mavinga. It's just the story's just not really hooking me. So I'll give it until the end of the arc, and if I'm still not satisfied, I'll probably drop this. But anyway, that's White Sky. That is issue number 4. Now we move on to my one title from Mad Cave Studios, and that is Honor and Curse. This is issue number 4. Honor and Curse Eternal, by the way. Issue number 4. This is written by Mark London. The artwork's done by Jaime Infante. The colors are done by Fran Gamboa, and the letters are done by Carlos and Manuel. And thought this was pretty cool issue. I love the artwork by Jaime Infante. Again, Genshi is having the internal struggle with Tengu, the spirit that co-occupies his body. And the Tengu is just like, he keeps trying to convince Genshi, like, hey, just let me in, let us become one. You remember your friend, she was able to become one with her Tengu, and she became really powerful. But Genshi's just like, hey, no, that's not gonna happen. So they find out, again, the Order of the Nine is behind all the attacks and against Genshi, so he's trying to figure out what their next plan is. And his assistant Kikai reveals that their next target is going to be this guy. His name is Adam Free. He's a democratic activist, and he's, you know, the Order of the Nine also has an agenda that they don't like technology. So this guy Adam Free, it's learned that he's going to be having a talk with some tech bros, and so again, he's going to be a target for the Order of the Nine. So Genshi is like, okay, well, I'm just going to go to where he's at and try to intercept him before the Order of the Nine do. And he's in Los Angeles, so I'm digging the colors. Very warm and vibrant here. But Genshi, again, telling Tengu he's capable of doing this on his own. So Genshi goes to Manhattan Beach, where I guess this is where Adam Free lives, and he goes to, you know, intercept him, but it ends up being a trap for Genshi, because when he gets to the mansion, Adam Free's already dead. Also, I wanted to mention, there's this one part where Mark London's humor, it just seemed a little out of nowhere and jarring, because considering how serious this comic has been so far. So that was my one critique in this issue, that, you know, the humor it just felt out of place. And so Adam Free, he's already been murdered. It was a setup to get Genshi to come out, and now all these mercenaries from the Order of the Nine are looking to ambush him. And then, again, action sequences were drawn pretty well. Pretty cool. Meanwhile, Tengu, again, he's still bickering, and, you know, he's still instigating. For the most part, Genshi has the upper hand, but then he gets hit, and he's not indestructible, but he fends off most of the mercenaries. Really cool. The artwork by Infante is really cool. But yeah, there's still one left, and this one activates a detonator. Genshi, he's too slow to stop him. And then the mansion explodes. Digging the colors of this double page spread. Mansion explodes. And then we go back to LAX, where Genshi, he's been incapacitated and his body's been recovered. And is he going back home? Who picked up his body? We don't know. So that was pretty much it. Really nothing going on as far as the plot goes. So, I mean, this story has been okay. I enjoy it slightly more than White Sky, and I'm gonna stick with this. Again, this is only gonna be 12 issues, so we're a third of the way through the series. So, but yeah, it's just been okay. Not bad, but not great. But that was Honor and Curse Eternal, issue number 4. All right, so now we move on to DC, and the first DC title is Green Lantern. This is issue number 36, and this is Legacy issue number 603. This is written by Jeremy Adams. The artwork's done by Guara and Montos, and the colors are done by Romulo Fajardo Jr., and the letters are done by Dave Sharp. And I enjoyed this issue a little bit more than the last issue, but I'm still not digging Guara's artwork. Really not working for me, but the design for Dr. Skin's alien form, really gnarly. So, and I was surprised based on, what happened the last issue, that they kind of resolved the Dr. Skin issue pretty quickly. So Kyle, he gets into a fight with him. He comes to an impasse, and then he has to go White Lantern to defeat Dr. Skin. So yeah, a couple of pages and that's already taken care of. So, and then, he has a discussion with Odyssey, and there's kind of I'm not sure if it's underlying romantic feelings between the two, or is it just platonic? I'm not sure. But then we cut to the Big Belly headquarters, and there's a meeting, like a marketing meeting, and this guy from the marketing team, he's like, okay, well, we need mascots. So these are the new mascots. We got their names. We got For Eyes, Salad, Big Belly Bear, and Shakespeare. So, but most likely these mascots, they are aliens in disguise. And so yeah, we then cut back again. Kyle and Odyssey are just having a heart-to-heart conversation, as Kyle, he contacted the Justice League to come pick up Dr. Skin, and Kyle was like, wants to know more about Odyssey, because again, Odyssey seems to be running away from something, but what is she running away from? Who is she running away from? So Kyle's he senses that, and he's trying to get more information about, like, yo, what's your origin story? But before Odyssey can get into it, Kyle's ex-girlfriend comes back into the picture, and it's Jade. And Odyssey picks up that Jade and Kyle used to date. So Kyle, and Odyssey tells Kyle, like, hey, she's still into you. You're probably still into her. Go ahead and go after her. So that's exactly what Kyle does. He goes after Jade, and awkwardly he invites her out to go to the movie premiere for Odyssey's movie and to get dinner afterwards. Jade agrees, and they're flirting. So they have cute banter with one another, and then we go to the movie premiere, and Kyle again is acting as Odyssey's bodyguard. And then they walk down the red carpet, and Kyle leaves Odyssey to go on his date with Jade. Odyssey seems surprised because, again, I think they're going to be hooking up eventually. I don't think Kyle and Jade are going to last that long. But yeah, so Kyle, he meets up with Jade, and he's like, oh, do you want to go sneak into the premiere and watch the movie? But Jade's like, how about we just go get dinner? She knows this food truck, it's pretty popular, so they're waiting in line for the food truck. Again, they're having flirting banter with one another, and then all of a sudden the food truck just goes by really fast. Something seems to be off, so Jade and Kyle, they look into it, and it's revealed that the mascots from Big Belly Burger, they're essentially gave this food truck, that company, a warning, like, hey, this is Big Belly territory now, leave LA. And so they scare the shit out of these guys, and then they dip. And then shortly after, Jade and Kyle, they come across the food truck employees, and they're like, hey, let's you're safe now. Let's now you can go back to flipping burgers. But the two guys were like, no way, we're leaving. But then yeah, and then Kyle and Jade embrace each other and kiss. So are they gonna start dating again? We will find out. But that was pretty much it. Again, another fun issue of Green Lantern. I thought it was slightly better than issue number 35, but it didn't have any reference to Hal Jordan and his adventure going on. So, but yeah, I thought this was an improvement of the last issue. And again, I'm still enjoying Jeremy Adams' run on Green Lantern. It's been fun throughout. It's always been consistent, even though we've had a little bit of a lull in the past few issues, but this was an improvement. So I recommend Green Lantern. This is issue number 36. And the last DC title I'm going to be going over is The Flash, and this is issue number 34. And the legacy issue is 834. This is written by Ryan North, and the art's done by Gavin Guidry. The colors are done by Adriano Lucas, and the letters are done by Buddy Beaudoin. And I think this was my favorite issue of the week. And so we start off with, Wally. He's developed this new ability called the Flashes of Insight, where he can briefly peek into the future. And he goes to his boss, Mr. Terrific, to, get more information about his Flashes of Insight and to learn more about, why is this happening? And Mr. Terrific pretty much tells him that since when you were saving all those people who were jumping off of buildings and going throughout Central City and Keystone, it's pretty much you're gathering data, and the Flashes of Insight, along with the Speed Force, use that data to, predict the future. So he advises Wally to do more experiments, to get more information, and that's exactly what Wally does. So he, goes through the city, and then he uses his ability to, predict the future, and he sees that Gorilla Grodd and the gorillas are gonna invade Central City. So to prevent that, he races towards Gorilla City. And I just thought, again, I've been really enjoying the lightheartedness of this run so far. I think Ryan North's doing a really good job. And, the artwork by Gavin Guidry and the colors by Adriano Lucas just perfectly complement that light tone that Ryan North is telling in the story. So anyway, Wally, interrupts Gorilla Grodd and the rest of the gorillas. He's seeing that they're powering up a generator to teleport, and he's just trying to de-escalate the situation. And again, I just love Gavin Guidry's artwork. Really great. And again, Wally uses his ability, his Flashes of Insight, to go through all the different possibilities of, talking to Grodd. So thought that was pretty fun. And then again, he realizes none of this is working, so he needs more information. So he departs for a second, and then I really enjoyed this double page, 20 panel per page spread of all the different possibilities. And I just thought this was a great creative way to showcase the storytelling, and especially in this issue, with Wally trying to gather as much information as possible and trying to predict the future. So I dug this. It took a little time to read, but I just thought this was a creative way to tell this story. So shout out to the team for coming up with that idea. But eventually Wally figures out that he has to, acquiesce to Grodd and just, de-escalate as much as possible. He ends up doing it. So the gorillas, they decide not to invade Central City. And again, the humor in this, really appreciate the humor by Ryan North. So Wally, he goes back to Mr. Terrific, and they're like, okay, well, let's use your abilities now to predict the weather. So Wally, uses flashes of insight to predict the weather, and he does this for several days. He's been pretty accurate, but one day something happens. When he thought it was going to be sunny, there's fog. It's foggy out, so he's like, that can't be right. So he looks into it, and then Wally discovers that it's not fog, it's steam. What's causing all this steam to come up? And it's revealed, look at this, that there's these cannons are just firing this, I'm not sure if it's lava or just a lot of hot energy, but when Wally starts to investigate, he gets attacked by none other than Heatwave. So what is Heatwave up to? What is his plan? So cool cliffhanger, and just really recommend this series. This run has been really fun so far. Enjoying the lighthearted tone. The artwork's been great, and yeah, I can't recommend the new Flash run enough. And that was issue number 34. So that was it. Those were all the books that I read this week. Let me know if you read any of the books that I've read in the comments, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. And yeah, let me know what you read that you enjoyed this week. So that was it. That was another episode of Single Issue Sunday. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Leave a like on the video, share it if you can, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. My goal is to hit 1,000 subscribers, and I would really appreciate it. So yeah, that was it. So thank you once again. My name is Chris Gonzalez. This is my dog Cuddy. This has been Chris Chats Comics, and I'm out. Peace.